It is Sean, the Scary Lion here. And today, I'm going to be breaking down the Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 schedule release. The schedule has been confirmed. The time has been confirmed. And before I talk about it, I just want to say one thing. I'm not doing any win-loss record predictions because I'm not doing that for this year, and I'm not even doing that for every other NFL team. I don't want to be let down again. I can't be let down again. I'll just see what happens when the season starts because I don't know about. There are some teams that I don't know about. There are some teams that could be great. There are some teams that could be bad. So, but all I'm gonna say is that the Steelers are my favorite team, and I think that what they're gonna do this season is show their full potential. Whether Kenny Pickett will be ready to be a big-time NFL quarterback or not. But what worries me about it is that the Steelers coaching staff, Matt Canada, I heard a rumor. There was a rumor that Matt Canada will be limiting jet sweeps. I hope that's the case. It's one of those plays that never panned out. But hopefully, let's hope. I hope everyone else, including me, hopes that Matt Canada opens the playbooks more and knows the plays that's right for the team, especially Kenny Pickett. Now, if I were to have a record prediction for this team, my ceiling for the Steelers would be 13-4. 13-4. That's because I can doubt the Steelers having 13 wins. Because like I said, I don't want to be let down again. I can't be let down. So, and my floor would be 8-9. 8-9. Not actually 9-8. 9-8. I think 9-8 is the better floor. 9-8 is the better record for the floor because it's clear that Mike Tomlin will never ever have a losing season ever. Mike Tomlin doesn't have a losing season, and it's clear that he will never, ever have one. So, the Steelers' ceiling record would be 13-4, and the Steelers' floor would be 9-8. Because the highest wins that the Steelers can have is between 9 and 13. It's between 9 and 13. It can go either way. It can go either way. All right. With that being said, let's talk about the schedules and what teams the Steelers played this season. So, the first team that we're playing in the regular season is finally a home game. For the first time in 9 years, the Steelers will be having a home game. That is awesome because the last time the Steelers had a home game, Antonio Brown kicked Spencer Lanning in the head. I remember the person that got kicked by Antonio Brown. I think it was Spencer Lanning. I think I think that was him. And I remember watching that game like a while back, and I thought it was hilarious. So the first team that the Steelers play in the home opener in week 1 is the San Francisco 49ers. About the 49ers, I don't know who's starting at quarterback, whether it's Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, or Brock Purdy. I don't know if Brock Purdy's recovering from that injury he suffered in the in this year's NFC Championship game. I think it was an injury in his elbow. I don't know if he's going to recover in time to start. But I have a feeling that Trey Lance might start and see what he does for the team. And Sam Darnold, I think it could be the backup. But other than that, I don't know who's starting at quarterback. I literally don't know. They have Christian McCaffrey, who is a great runner. They have Deebo Samuel, who's also a great runner and a wide receiver. And they still have George Kittle, who's always George Kittle. And I don't know I can't name other wide receivers, and their defense is arguably the best in the league. Their defense is great. The Steelers start off their home opener in week 1 against a team that was 1 win away from playing in the Super Bowl and got blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the 49ers. The 49ers. Like I said, I'm not going to predict win and losses. I'm not predicting a win or loss right here, but I'm going to say this. Whatever happens in week 1 does not set the tone. It applies to every NFL team. Sorry, I couldn't even talk right. It applies to every NFL team. And when I mean every NFL team, I literally mean every NFL team. Whatever happens in week 1 does not set the tone. The rest, I can't say the rest. I can't say the rest of the NFL season, but that's the point. That's the point. So, week 2 is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. And it's on Monday Night Football. Honestly, I don't know about the Browns. It's Deshaun Watson's full season. It's going to be Deshaun Watson's full season as a starter. And they still have Nick Chubb, who's an elite runner. They have Amari Cooper. They traded for Elijah Moore from the Jets. And their defense, they still have Myles Garrett. They still have Denzel Ward. I think their defense is all right. But other than that, I think the Browns did improve from Kevin Stefanski. And other than that, I don't know about the Browns this season. I literally don't know. I don't know how many wins they're going to have. But I'm just saying this. My optimism for the Steelers season is sweeping the Browns. Sweeping the Browns. And I hope that's the case. I hope we sweep the Browns. Next we have the Raiders. Which is back-to-back primetime games for the first time in a while. I think it was for the first time in a while but it's in Las Vegas, and we play the Raiders. The Raiders have Jimmy Garoppolo, who I think is a choke artist in the playoffs. I don't care if he went to the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's late in the season. I don't care if it's the playoffs. He is a choke artist. And I think he's precisely the reason why the 49ers lost Super Bowl 54. And I think it's one of the reasons why the 49ers moved to Trey Lance instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. And Trey Lance got hurt, and then Jimmy G played. And then games later, he got hurt, and I don't mean to go off topic, and Brock Purdy played the rest of the games and almost leading the 49ers to the Super Bowl. But I don't mean to go off topic here, but that's what Jimmy Garoppolo is. He is starting for the Raiders. They have Devontae Adams, who is arguably the best wide receiver in the league. He was arguably the best receiver in the game. They don't have Darren Waller anymore. But here's the Steelers' history against the Raiders. The Steelers always struggle against the Raiders for some reason. For some reason. The last time we beat the Raiders was the day before Christmas. It was the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. We won the game for Franco. We secured that win. But the last time the Steelers beat the Raiders in their house, and they were the Oakland Raiders back then. It was in 1995, correct me if I'm wrong. And ever since we played the Raiders in Oakland, we couldn't beat them, even with Ben Roethlisberger. We couldn't do it. And now we play and now this season we play the Raiders in Las Vegas. I think that they look exactly like the New England Patriots. They have Josh McDaniels as a head coach. Oh. And I forgot something. I forgot to mention one thing. They just got Jacoby Myers, who is the one who threw the ball to Chandler Jones. And I thought that was the dumbest play of the season. It was dumb. But other than that, I don't know about the Raiders as well. But it's too early to say as a trap game because but that's one of those teams we usually play down the competition. Alright. Next we have the Texans. And it's in Houston. And I've got to say one thing. The Steelers are going to be traveling pretty far in the West Coast this season. So we played the Texans in Houston. About the Texans, I think CJ Stroud will be the starting quarterback. I think the Texans have changed. I think that in my eyes, the Texans have changed. And they might be a huge threat in the AFC South within the next few years or so. New head coach DeMeco Ryans might have saved the Texans franchise already. But I still don't know about the Houston Texans. I think CJ Stroud could start by then, by the time the Steelers play the Texans. But other than that, I don't know. And they have running back Dameon Pierce. Is something that the Steelers have to watch out for when we play them. Next is the Ravens. So, the last 2 seasons, the Steelers have been playing the Ravens late in that season and was 3-1 against them. And Lamar Jackson, he got his contract extension. And he has new weapons, but they're just, the new weapons he had is just mid. OBJ is not the same OBJ, but he could still make plays. They have Nelson Aguilar, who is mid. They have Rashad Bateman. I don't know when he's going to step up. They have Mark Andrews, and they still have Mark Andrews. They did draft Zay Flowers, which I thought he is a good receiver. But the question is, will the Ravens wide receiver corps will step up? But the answer is, I don't know. They have that new offensive coordinator who is from the Georgia Bulldogs. I can't remember his name, but I still don't know about them. But the Steelers-Ravens rivalry is one of the best rivalries in the NFL. It's been that way for a long time, and every time you play them, it's always the case, whether the Steelers win or lose. But I think we could split the series with the Ravens, but I don't know. And we have a bye week 6. Why? I don't know why we had the bye in week 6, but I think it might have something to do with the 2 Thursday night football games that we have this season. We'll get into that. We'll get into that later on. So, I think it should have been I think we should have. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The Steelers should have had the bye at the second half of the football season because I don't know how many injuries. Sorry for that. Let me rephrase that. I don't know how many injuries that we could have. I don't know how much it could hurt us. But I don't like the fact that we have a bye at week 6 because it's 12 straight games. The Steelers in 2020 played 13 straight games. But I don't know. I don't know about the bye week. I don't know how the Steelers are going to do after the bye, but it should have been after week 9 or should have been after week 13 or 14. I don't know. I don't know about it. But on to the next schedule. We have the Rams, and it's in Los Angeles. It's one of those games where Steelers fans usually show up there, which has happened a couple times. 2 seasons ago, and 4 seasons ago, I guess. I think it was 4 seasons ago. But in this time around, I think it could happen again. And it could be big because it is SoFi Stadium. Fingers crossed. About the Rams, I just don't know about them. They won the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. And they were terrible last season. They went from a Super Bowl champion to a terrible team. That is just absurd and embarrassing. Well, I wouldn't say embarrassing because the Rams just won the Super Bowl, but looking at them now, I just don't know about them. I don't know about Matthew Stafford. Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. I don't know about him well. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be good. I don't know if they're going to be mid. I don't know if they're going to be bad. I don't even know they're going to be worse. And I think that Sean McVay is a good head coach. I think he really is. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost Allen Robinson, who I think is a free agent bust. He's now on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Allen Robinson. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know about the Rams. And it's in Los Angeles. Next is the Jaguars. This is one of the games that I am definitely looking forward to. Trevor Lawrence is at the quarterback. They have Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne. They just added Calvin Ridley, who was suspended last season for gambling. And their defense is very, very underrated. And it's one of those games that I've been looking forward to. I'm actually excited about this game. Who knows? Who knows? It could be a big test. It can be a big test between the Steelers and the Jaguars. And they used to be rivalries. Way back then. It was during the 90s. It was during the 90s. Wait, I think it wasn't actually the 90s. I think it was late 1990s or early 2000s. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, this matchup right here, it could be a true test. And next we have the Titans. And it's on Thursday Night Football. And I think that Will Levis could be the starting quarterback by then. And they have Derrick Henry at running back. And honestly, he is not the same. He has not been the same since the 2020 season, where he had like back-to-back rushing titles. But looking at him now, it's not looking good. Will Levis could be the starting quarterback by then. And believe it or not, Malik Willis could be released before the season starts. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill anymore. Will Levis, like I said, could be the starting quarterback by then. But other than that, I don't know about the Titans. They could be bad. They could be a bad team. They could be. Next is the Green Bay Packers, which is Jordan Love's first full season as a starter. Jordan Love is starting full season as a starter, and it's going to and this season can determine whether Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback or not. If Jordan Love struggles, then the Packers might have to draft a quarterback. But I think it's also another one of those anticipated matchups for the season. I don't know. Who knows? Next is the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland. And this matchup can be different. It can be different because it's in Cleveland. And like I said, we could sweep the Browns. We very well could. And after that, we play the Bengals, which 2 straight, we play back-to-back games in Ohio. About the Bengals, they're still a great team. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. The Bengals are still a threat in the AFC North. They are still a threat in the AFC North. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. The Bengals are still a threat in the AFC North. And the next game is the Cardinals, which is guaranteed to be the worst team in the league. Enough said. The next game is the Patriots on Thursday Night Football again. And I think that the Steelers, the Saints, and the Bears are the only 3 teams to have 2 Thursday Night Football games this season. I just looked up the Thursday Night Football schedule, and I just read closely, and I'm not even lying. The only teams I saw twice is the Steelers, the Saints, and the Bears. And the reason why we have 2, it's because of those, which is not the reason. It's like those mini buys. It means we can practice for a little bit longer. It's a mini buy. It's literally a mini buy. About the Patriots, I just don't trust Mac Jones. I don't. You see, I am losing my mind over this Steelers schedule, talking about those teams we play this season. So, next is the Indianapolis Colts, and it's in Indianapolis, and we always have the Colts number. We always do. Anthony Richardson could start by then. Other than that, I think the Colts could be bad as well. But Anthony Richardson can be the starting quarterback. He could start week 1. He could. But the date has not been announced yet. The time hasn't been announced yet. It could be a primetime game. I don't even know. Next is the Cincinnati Bengals. This time, it'll be at home, and it's the day before Christmas Eve. So it's like a special football game, and I don't know why. I literally don't even know why. But I do know why. It's the day before Christmas Eve. Yeah, and I know that week 16 of the NFL always have Saturday football games. They always have that. That's the history of week 16. So about the Bengals, I think the Bengals could sweep us. They did that in 2021, but this year, I think the Bengals can sweep the Steelers again. That's all I'm going to have to say. Now, and this is the last Steelers home game of the regular season. So next is the Seahawks, and it's in Seattle, and Geno Smith is the quarterback of the Seahawks, and he won Comeback Player of the Year. Great for him. Great for him. And the last time the Steelers played in Seattle, we lost by like 9 points. Mike Mitchell and Antoine Blake was an example of it. Of the 2015 Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Oh my gosh. We lost. The Steelers lost to the Seahawks in 2015 by like 9 points. I looked up the score like a while back, and I still remembered the score to this day. To this day. I do not have the best memory whatsoever, but I can still remember certain times. Certain times. My God. Oh, and believe it or not, the Steelers never won a game in Seattle. They never did. They've never beat the Seahawks in Seattle. So, can the Steelers beat the Seahawks in Seattle? I don't know. They have Geno Smith at quarterback. They traded away Russell Wilson last year to the Denver Broncos. We all know how that panned out last season. And they have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and they drafted a wide receiver, Jackson, whatever his last name is. I still don't remember. Like I said, I don't have the best memory whatsoever, but I can still remember certain times. And it's the second to last home game. So week 16 through week 18, it can involve playoff implications. So, and I might have a feeling that the Steelers could be in that situation again, because what's worrying me about it is that the Steelers coaching staff. So, who knows? And the last one is the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. And the reason why it's at week 18, because the NFL could flex it to Sunday night. Because like I said, it can involve playoff implications, but because the NFL thinks that the last Steelers game of the season, it can involve big playoff implications. But I don't know. But we'll see what happens when week 18 comes. I like the schedule. We're going to have to wait through a whole summer for the NFL season to start. We're not near the summer yet. We're going to have to wait a whole summer. And there's going to be so many things that I'm going to go through. So, other than that, I like the schedule. That is going to be it for the video. So, that is it for the video. And I'm out of here. Peace!